comfortable seat on your mat. Allow the legs to cross. Be sure that the skin is slid out and away from the sit bones to allow the nice tall spine. On your next inhale, pull the shoulders up to the ears, create a bit of tension. Exhale the shoulder blades around, down and back into spine. Make sure the shoulders are relaxed. Feel free on your next inhale to sit a little bit taller, maybe almost leaning back slightly, stacking the shoulders over hips. And then just softly close the eyes. As you observe a sense of groundedness, a nice tall spine, try to note the temperature of breath, the pace of breath. Observe the belly begin to rise on the inhale, and the belly to contract back to spine on the exhale. Try not to rush, just to take a few even breaths. And allow the inhales to match the length of your exhales. Reminding yourself that the inhales create extra space in body. Exhales release old, stale air. Take 3 more breaths, equal parted. Inhales matching exhales, 2 more breaths. Next time you inhale, open the eyes, lift the gaze, and set your right hand to the mat. Giving a bend to the right elbows and the left arm skyward on inhale. If it's comfortable for neck, look up to that left hand. Ground through the left hip. Reach further away through left fingertips. On the exhale, release left hand to the mat. Root the left hand, bend left elbow. Inhale, right arm skyward. Again, looking up if you can. Sending the breath over towards that right side of body, right rib cage. 2 more breaths, equal parts. On the exhale, right hand floats back down to the ground. Send both hands and gaze up on the inhale. Exhale, bring both palms into the heart. Roll the shoulder blades up and back, open the chest. Again, send hands and gaze up on inhale. On exhale, float the hands down. Interlace all 10 fingers behind if possible. Roll the shoulder blades up and together, back and joining in towards the spine. Bring the knuckles away from the chest or head. Take 1 full breath, filling from the belly all the way up towards the chest. Releasing the hands to your sides, just extending the feet out in front of you as you uncross the legs. And then rocking them to a sort of boat position here. So go ahead and as you lift, you'll pull the belly into the spine, keep a firm low back. You can use hands for support if you like. You'll cross the right leg over the left. You can keep hands connected to the ground or release them. On your inhale, you'll lower the legs and upper body, keeping the firm back. On the exhale, you'll pulse in. Thighs towards the chest. Inhale to lower. Exhale, pulse in. Take 5 more. Inhaling as you lower. Exhale, chest to thighs. Take 1 more. And then set the feet down here. You'll just cross the legs. Send both hands up on the inhale. Exhale, twist over to your right, releasing your right hand behind the back. Using the left hand outside, either length or resistance. Keep the collarbones wide. Fill the belly. Exhale, unwind. Uncross the legs again. Bring the navel into spine, nice firm low back. Left leg over right leg this time. So left over right, you'll lower on the inhale, hands connected or lifted. Low back stays firm. You'll exhale to pulse in. Inhale as you lower. Exhale to pulse. Take 5 more. Add 1 more. Inhale, lower. Exhale, pulse in. Across the legs to a seated position. Send both hands up on the inhale. Exhale, twist over to your left. Left hand comes behind the back. Right arm outside left or right knee. Gaze over the left shoulder. Take 2 full breaths. Exhale, unwind. Here you'll just come to a regular boat position. Bringing hands underneath the knees. If you'd like, you can straighten. You'll just hold for 2 breaths. On the exhale, cross the legs, plant the hands, step or hop back to your plank position. Go ahead and lift the right leg. So as you do this, try not to let the low back sink down. Shoulders are over the wrists, middle fingers face forwards. 3 more breaths. As you exhale next, release that right leg. Soften down to both knees. Untuck the toes. Keep the elbows close to ribs as you exhale all the way down to belly. Hug the elbows into the sides. Roll shoulders up and back as you inhale, cobra. Squeeze the inner thighs together. 1 more breath. Exhale, float the upper body down. Take a breath in through the nose. Release air throughout the mouth. 1 more breath in through nose. Release air throughout mouth. Pull the elbows in and shift back up into that plank position, curling the toes under, shoulders over the wrists, lifting the left leg this time without letting that low back sink down. You're lengthening head to toe. You're keeping your gaze at the mat. 3 more breaths. And you'll exhale, soften down to both knees, untuck the toes. And keep the elbows close as you exhale down to the belly. Pull the elbows in, lift shoulders up, and roll them back on the inhale. Chest is nice and wide, squeeze the inner thighs together. And exhale, float back down to the mat. Elbows hug in, you'll lift 1 more time to a cobra. Chest is expanded, lengthen head to toe. And exhale, float back down. This time, pull the elbows in, lift into an upward facing dog, so lifting the thighs off the mat here. And then curl the toes under, send your body back to downward facing dog. Feel free to keep that nice little bend to the knees to start. Make sure the pressure is even through both hands. And start to lengthen the spine, send the hands or hips away from the hands here. Take 3 breaths. On your exhale, bend the knees, look ahead, step or hop towards the top of your mat. Come up halfway on inhale to a flat back. Exhale to fold. Inhale, find your way to standing. Root through the heels as you look up. Exhale, send palms to heart. So from here, you'll just find a nice center of balance or gravity here. You might separate the feet a little bit to keep that balance. You'll keep a little give to the knees. You'll send both arms up here. Grabbing with the left hand, the right wrist, lifting up on inhale. Exhale, you'll lean over to your left here. So make sure your hips still face forward. You're pressing into both big toes. Finding that length on right side of body. Just keeping a neutral neck or gaze. You don't have to come far here, just looking for a nice stretch along right side. 1 more breath. You'll come back up on the inhale. Use the right hand to grab a hold of left wrist. Lift up on the next inhale. Exhale over to your right side. Again, you're pressing through both big toes, relaxing the neck. Keeping it neutral. Inhale, lengthen the reach a little bit further. Exhale over to the right. As you inhale, send the gaze and hands back up. Exhale as you bend to fold forwards. Come up halfway on the next inhale. Exhale, send the hands to the mat, step or hop back to your plank position. On your exhale, travel high to low. Inhale, extend the chest, upward facing dog. Exhale, toes curl under, downward facing dog. So again, you're always looking for that long spine. Your arms match your back here. Whether you keep your knees bent or straighten your legs, that spine, that lengthened spine does not change. Take about 2 or 3 breaths. And the next exhale, again, you'll bend the knees, look ahead, step or hop or walk to top of mat. Come up halfway on the inhale, exhale on the fold. Inhale, rise up to standing. If you get dizzy, you'll keep the chin tucked till you come up. Exhale, palms and gaze to heart. One more, lengthen on the inhale. Exhale, bend to fold forwards. Come halfway up on inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, hands to the ground, step or hop back to your plank. Weight shifts forward, shoulders over the wrists. You can always use the knees here as well. You'll just make sure that elbows stay close as you come down and up. You can also come to the belly. On the exhale, you'll shift back to downward facing dog. Again, that lengthened spine, tailbone is high. You might notice that the heels come a bit closer to the ground now. It's fine if they do, fine if they don't. You keep the lengthened spine no matter what the legs are doing. Next time you exhale, you'll bend the knees and look ahead. This time, just swing or step the right foot to the top of your mat. You'll keep pressing through back left heel. Send the arms up towards a high lunge here. Shoulders roll up and back. Shoulder blades traveling into the spine behind you here. You'll press actively through that back left heel to find a stretch in front left hip. Front knee is over the ankle. On the exhale, release both hands to frame that right foot. Feel free to make it fun. Take a nice hop to switch the legs out. Left foot's to the top, right heel is lifted, and you'll press into it. As you come up, you'll keep that front knee over the ankle. Shoulders roll up and back, pulling into the spine here. Stretches in the front right hip. On the exhale, both hands release to the ground or mat. Find your way back to a downward facing dog. On the exhale, bend the knees, look ahead, step or hop to the top of mat. Halfway up on the inhale. Exhale on the fold. Inhale, find your way to standing. Press through the heels, lengthen. Exhale, palms and gaze to heart. So you're just going to bend both knees here, pressing the palms in together. You're going to shift your weight into the right foot, keeping a bend to the right knee as you lift into a warrior 3. That left foot's going to flex, heel presses away from the head. Feel free to bring the arms out in front of you if you're comfortable. And you're going to soften down to a high lunge. Right knee stays bent, left leg lowers. Inhale up to that high lunge. As you exhale, hands release to frame that front foot. Left hand stays under shoulder. Right arm inhales to the ceiling or sky. You're lengthening head to toe here. On the exhale, right hand travels back to the ground or mat. Send it back to the downward facing dog. Hips away from hands. Take a full breath. On the exhale, bend the knees, look ahead, step or walk, hop, travel to the top. Halfway up on the inhale. Exhale on the fold. Inhale, find standing. Exhale, send palms and gaze to heart, Samastitihi. A nice bend to the knees, press into the palms to broaden the chest. Weight comes into the left foot this time, bending the left knee. You can slowly shimmy or drag. And lift when you're ready the right leg into warrior 3, Virabhadrasana 3. So you're pressing into the palms to open the chest here. Don't want to round the back. Again, if comfortable, you can bring the arms out in front. Don't have to. Flexing that back foot, press the heel away from the head, lengthen the spine. One more breath. Left knee stays bent, right foot sets down, send the arms up to that high lunge. Take 2 or 3 breaths. Remember, you're always breathing at the pace of your breath. Might be faster or slower than mine. You're just always keeping them even, your own even pace. On the next exhale, hands frame that left foot. Right wrist stays under shoulder. Left arm comes skyward. You're pressing through that back heel. You're keeping the hips to face forwards here. Try not to let that left thigh wander out. Keep it hugged in. Left inner thigh into chest. On the exhale, release that left hand back to the ground. Send it back to your downward facing dog. On your inhale, shift the weight forwards to your plank, shoulders over the wrists. Exhale, travel high to low or chaturanga. Inhale, expand the chest. Exhale, flip back to your downward facing dog. 1 full breath. On your next inhale, send that right leg skyward. And just take 1 moment to bend that right knee, opening the right hip over left. So when you do that, your left shoulder will dip down. Try to keep the shoulders parallel to the ground here. Make 1 or 2 circles with that leg or hip just to warm it. And then go ahead and swing that right foot through. Bring the left heel off the mat, come back up to that high lunge once more. On the exhale, release both hands to frame the front right foot. You're going to shift your weight up here into that right foot, keeping a bend to the right knee, and both hands connected to ground. That bend can be real small on the right knee. If you're nice and comfortable, you'll start to open now your opposite left hip over the right. You'll flex that back foot. If you feel balanced, you'll lift your arm, maybe a little, maybe all the way to the ceiling. Maybe you keep both hands to the ground. Coming into half moon here, or Ardha Chandrasana. You can still open up the hip, keeping the hands to the ground. You're still picking one place you're balanced, keeping a nice even breath. The next time you exhale, you're going to release all the way to a forward fold, but bring that left leg behind your right leg. So a cross-legged forward fold. You're just relaxing the upper body, head, neck, and shoulders, jaw. From here, you're going to bring the hands to the ground if they're not, and just press up halfway first here. And then you're going to bend both knees. Just going to slowly come up in towards an eagle position. So both legs are bent, knees bent. You're going to firmly wrap or cross that right leg over the left, squeezing the inner thighs together. Shoulders to stay stacked over the hips. You can send both arms out here. So right leg is crossed over, right arm will cross under the left. You can wind or bind as much as you like. You'll draw the elbows away from the body and lift the hands skyward. So if possible, I'm going to keep all the weight into that left leg, rooting the left foot into the ground still. You can keep those elbows here connected, squeezing the forearms, and slowly uncross that right leg to a warrior 3. If it's uncomfortable to keep the arms bound, you can release them into prayer or in front of you. Still flexing that back right foot, just as before. Still lengthening head to toe. One more breath. On your exhale, release to a regular forward fold. Bring the hands to shins, come up halfway on the inhale. Exhale, hands to the ground, step or hop back to your plank, travel high to low on the exhale. Inhale, expand the chest, squeeze inner thighs together. Exhale, down dog. Take 2 breaths. So this time you'll send that left leg when you're ready up to the sky. You'll bend the left knee and open the left hip over the right. Again, not letting that right shoulder dip down, but keeping shoulders parallel. Make 1 or 2 circles with the left leg. And then swing that left foot through. Lift the back right heel, come up to high lunge. On the exhale, slowly release both hands again. You'll shift the weight forwards to the left foot, keeping a bend to the left knee as you lift the right leg. So you'll draw the belly into the spine. You'll start to flex that right foot and open right hip over left. Again, you can do that keeping the hands connected to the ground. If you're nice and balanced, you can lift the arm, test your balance, or come all the way up. Slowly you'll get there. Little tiny bend to the left knee. Take a few breaths. Keep the breath even. Don't let your inhales be shorter than the exhales. On the exhale, you'll release both hands if the hands was lifted. And release that right leg behind the left. Cross-legged forward fold. Relaxing the upper body, head, neck, shoulders. Relax the jaw. Maybe bring yourself a little smile. Again, you'll bring the hands towards the ground. You'll bend both of the knees. So you're just coming up to standing with a little bend to the knees. Once you're standing, that left leg crosses over the right leg. This time, left arm crosses under the right. So really working, squeezing the inner thighs together, keeping the shoulders over the hips. Elbows drawing away from the body and hands lifting here. So you're opening the space between the shoulder blades or behind the back. You should feel a little resistance doing that as you send the hands skyward. Keep the inner thighs nice and firm as you slowly start to shift towards that warrior 3. So the elbows are going to come in here. You're going to keep the weight in the right foot. Slowly uncross the left leg. Back to your warrior 3. Flexing left foot. Tiny bend stays in the right knee. One more breath. On the exhale, release forward fold, Uttanasana. Hands come to shins, lift halfway up, flat back. Exhale, hands to the ground, step or hop back to the plank. Exhale, travel high to low. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, upward dog. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward dog. Take 2 breaths. And then once, just send that right leg skyward on the inhale, swing the right foot through and drop the left heel. Keep the hips facing forwards as you come up to warrior 1. On your next inhale, you'll straighten the front right leg, open the arms to a T, and extend that body and torso nice and long as you release that right hand towards the shin. You can always keep the gaze to the ground here as left arm comes skyward to triangle, Trikonasana. You're trying to pull that right shoulder blade down into the spine and opening the left shoulder over the right. So even if you can touch the ground here, that might not necessarily be best as your bottom starts to stick out, or you'll feel more of a stretch in the inner thigh. You're really looking for that opening and stretch along the left side of the body. Generally, the hand just below the knee and the shin is a perfect place. On the next exhale, bend that front right knee, come back up to the warrior 1. Just reverse the warrior, take 1 long breath. Make sure not to press into the behind the kneecap, your back leg. And exhale, both hands travel to the top of the mat. Take it back to your plank, travel high to low. Up on the inhale, back on the exhale. Next inhale, left leg travels skyward, swing it through. Release the right heel, right toes to top right corner of mat or space. Arms come wide, or chest as wide as arms lift. Again, you'll straighten the front leg on inhale, open the arms to a T, feet stay the same. Exhale, send the torso away from you as you release, hand to shin, never pressing into the kneecap. You can always keep gaze down for balance, or if balanced, gaze to that top hand. So while you're contracting the inner thighs together for balance, you might also lift the kneecaps a little bit to activate the quads. At the same time, you're allowing the head to travel away from the hips. On the exhale, that front left knee bends. You'll come back up on the inhale, turning hips forward to the warrior one. And exhale, releasing both hands. This time you'll kick your body up to a standing forward fold, sending the head to the shins. So here, just keep the hands connected to the ground and separate the feet a little bit. You'll bend both knees. Draw the left hand into the center of both feet. Inhale to open right arm skyward. Try to draw the belly in and up here, in the direction of that right hand. If this bothers your neck, you can always look down. On the exhale, release that right hand, just switch them out. Right hand comes in between both arms. You'll inhale to open that left arm. You can keep a bend to both knees, a little bend if you need. Drawing the belly in and up to the spine. On the exhale, release both hands to the ground or mat. Send the hands to the shins, press up halfway on the inhale. Exhale, release the hands to the ground. Take a step back to your plank position. And then you'll again send that left hand sort of in the center of the mat or underneath left shoulder and flip open here into a side plank. So both feet can be separated. You can stack both feet. I personally am uncomfortable doing that. You can also release one knee to the ground for greater support. You can even, if the knee is to the ground, lift that back leg. So any place that you feel nice and comfortable in that side plank or slightly uncomfortable, as you should be working hard. The belly's pulled into the spine and the hips stay lifted here. Make sure that wrist is right under the shoulder. Take 2 more breaths. Exhale, release both hands to the ground. Just soften down to both knees here. Bring the tops of feet to the mat. Maybe widen the knees a little bit as you come back into child's pose. Feel free to keep the arms extended in front of you or to soften them behind you, relaxing the arms here. I'm going to bring my hands behind my back, allowing the whole body to relax, the bottom to sink to the heels. Take one more long breath. As you come up, you'll slowly send the hands and body back up to a tabletop position. You'll walk the hands out so that body's at a 45-degree angle. You'll send that right wrist under the shoulder. Again, one leg or knee to the mat for more support if needed, or both feet to the end. Either way, the wrist is under shoulder, the hips stay lifted, belly draws into the spine. Make sure you use the pressure of your fingertips in addition to your wrist. Two more breaths. On the exhale, releasing again back to that plank position. This time you'll travel high to low plank. Send the body up on the inhale, really broad chest. And exhale, back downward facing dog. From here, you're going to drop back down to your knees softly. And exhale back to child's pose. next inhale, allow the hands to come back up, reach, lifting your body up into a tabletop position. And keep the knees under the hips here, give the toes a curl under, and start to press through the heels to bring a nice stretch to the backs of feet. As you release the toes, plant the elbows firmly just beneath the shoulders to prepare for dolphin pose. So you can keep the hands connected to the ground or interlace the fingers together. If you will interlace them, bring one of your pinkies underneath so you're not pressing bone to bone here. Keeping the elbows under the shoulders, give the toes a curl under and send the bottom part of body back up into a downward facing dog. So the tailbone is nice and high. Once you're nice and centered, the elbows under shoulders, start to walk the toes closer up towards the head or elbows or arms. So you're keeping a really nice high tailbone, the backs of legs are open, and you want to make sure the shoulders stay over the elbows, that you're not too far behind or too far forwards. Bring a nice opening between the shoulder blades. Try to relax the head or neck. If there's too much blood in the head here, you can always lift the gaze a bit, as long as there's no issues with the neck. Take 2 more long breaths, nice and even. And slowly on the exhale, set both knees back down to the ground. Plant the hands here, and just take a few cat-cows. Finding that nice opening in chest on your inhale, allowing back to round, shoulder blades to open on the exhale. Take one more. On your next exhale, just curl the toes under and press right back to downward facing dog. Take a long breath in and out. On the next exhale, give the knees a bend, look ahead and travel towards the top of the mat. Come up halfway on the inhale. Exhale as you fold. Inhale, find your way back to standing. Press through the heels, lengthen and look up. Exhale, send the palms to heart. Just take one goddess squat here. So take one large step back with the right foot, and then go ahead and allow your feet or heels, the heels to be right underneath the knees and the feet to be wider than the hips. So start to turn the toes out a little bit. Make sure that they're not completely out. It'll be really hard to balance then. Just about a 45-degree angle or so. You'll try to find a nice comfortable place, maybe even rocking side to side for a moment. Once you feel comfortable, pick a place for your hands. You can keep them on the thighs, softly resting. You can keep palms in prayer. You can bring the arms out to a T, or even for more of a challenge, you can lift the arms overhead. Any one of those places, you'll hold about 4 more breaths. Bring your gaze maybe just ahead of you or to the ground. 2 more breaths. Focus on the air entering and exiting rather than the warmth in legs. And then on your next inhale, just straighten both legs, bring both feet parallel to each other, and take a nice long forward fold. So any forward fold that's comfortable for you. Feet are again wider than the hips. Allow any length on the inhale. Keeping the feet parallel to each other, you'll come into a forward fold. Prasarita Padottanasana, any fold that you like. If you're comfortable in your practice with headstands, now would be a good time to practice one. You're making sure in that forward fold that you're finding lean forwards here, allowing the weight to come towards the head or toes or hands, really opening the backs of legs. inhale, bring the hands down to the mat if they're not. Press up halfway and look ahead. And then just start to heel toe your feet closer in towards each other. So you're coming all the way back towards the center of your mat. Go ahead and turn to the top. Press into the shins, lift up halfway and flatten the back. Exhale, bring the hands to the mat. Take it back to your plank. One more vinyasa. On your next exhale, you can slowly set the knees back down to the ground or mat. You can cross the ankles or toss the feet to one side and come over into a seat here. So in this seat, we'll come into a wide-legged forward fold, seated forward fold, kind of almost like a yin pose where you're holding the pose for a little longer. And rather than stretching the muscles, you're working to stretch the deep connective tissue. So from a seated place, bring the legs as far apart as they'll comfortably come. You'll then allow that skin to come up and away from the sits bones. That will change the tilt of the pelvis, helping you to fold with a little bit more ease. And rather than keeping the legs nice and long or an active stretch underneath the legs but the toes up, you're just going to relax the feet here. You send the hands up on the inhale. And exhale, extend away from you a little bit to come to any place that's comfortable for you to fold. So maybe that's right here, supported with the hands. Maybe you're comfortable enough to come down to the forearms. Just any place that you're most comfortable where you feel that kind of deepest stretch in the inner thigh. A nice healthy stretch, but no pain. Again, you might wiggle the toes, you'll make sure toes are relaxed. So nothing is active here. Just taking several long breaths, allowing on the inhales the air to fill the body. And on the exhales, the body to kind of soften or release, focusing that breath or concentration on the area in the groin or inner thighs. So you'll notice after you've taken several breaths in one place, you might be able to adjust somehow. You want to kind of find that edge that you felt when you just came into your forward fold. So if that means you separate the feet or legs farther apart, that's one way. Or you can also come a little bit deeper into that fold is another way. So either way, you'll make an adjustment if you feel you've lost that edge. If you're otherwise just feeling fine where you were, then stay where you were. Take about 5 more breaths. So in your next inhale, you're just going to slowly walk back up, lifting up, and take a moment to just allow the body to do whatever's needed. So first you'll just allow nice and slow the legs to draw back together here. And then maybe you decide to bring the knees into the chest. Maybe you'd like to come onto the back for a moment. Maybe you're comfortable where you are seated. And just allow the legs to kind of relax. Take a moment to make sure that you feel kind of neutral. Again, another thing you can do is just create some windshield wipers, slowly and gently allowing the feet and knees to rotate back and forth, softening the hips a little bit. Whenever it is that you feel comfortable again, our body's prepared to move on. We'll just take a nice tall seat here, and you'll allow the left knee to come up into the left bottom, and then extend that right leg out in front of you. We'll send both hands up on the inhale, and exhale to twist to your left. Left hand plants behind the back, right arm comes outside that left knee. So here you're going to turn the right toes up to the ceiling so the right leg stays active. We'll turn the gaze over the left shoulder. If this is too deep of a twist, you can always use the leg instead of the knee. Right leg instead of left knee as some resistance, or a point of resistance. As you unwind, you'll just release, extend the opposite left leg, pull the right knee up, right heel into right bottom, send the hands up on inhale, lengthening a little bit, and as you exhale, you'll turn to the right. The hand comes nice and close to the back to keep a tall spine. The left arm extends and comes outside that right knee. Or again, if it's too deep of a twist for you, you can set the hand on the left leg. Left toes stay up, gazes to the right shoulder. Filling the belly on inhale, even the chest is twisted or compromised a bit. Next time you exhale, you'll unwind back to the center. And then from here, just bring the bottom up a little bit. You'll allow your body to come to the back, pulling the knee softly in towards the chest. Take a few rocks side to side just to massage slowly that lower back. From here, you'll allow that left leg to extend straight or up towards the ceiling, and the left knee to pull into chest. The fingers are going to interlace and come underneath the head or the bottom of your head here. So you're going to activate the core, pulling the belly into the spine, and lift just the upper back or shoulders. You're going to send that right elbow towards the left knee. Inhale as you switch sides, sending left elbow to right knee. So you're only allowing that upper back to be lifted. You're inhaling on the switch, exhaling to twist and hold. Taking them nice and slow here, feeling the muscles work along the way. Take 2 more on each side. Perfect, just relax the back down to the ground or mat. The knees up to the ceiling, the soles of feet to the ground. To come into a bridge pose, you'll make sure the feet are hips distance apart and a few inches to a foot below the bottom. Hands are going to relax to the ground here. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, release your air throughout the mouth. Take a deep breath in. Then press into the heels and lift. On the exhale, the hips and bottom up towards the ceiling. So there's a propensity to activate the glutes here. Try to focus the activation more in the inner thighs, squeezing inner thighs together and keeping the glutes somewhat relaxed. You're lifting up, squeezing in with the inner thighs. Imagining maybe there's a block in between your knees and you're holding that block or ball in place. Allowing the hips to lift as much as is comfortable. And if you're nice and comfortable here, the hands or fingers can start to interlace underneath your body. If you do that, I'd suggest lifting the shoulder one at a time and kind of rolling, tucking the shoulder blades under and behind. That will help you get a bit more lift and create some greater space in the chest. You're still bringing the hands or knuckles away from the head. Pressing into the knuckles to lift the hips. Again, if that doesn't work or your hands don't reach, it's perfectly fine to keep the hands right to the ground. Take about 3 more breaths. Noticing that belly rise on the inhale. on back down. Just let the body relax in the back for a moment, allowing the spine to settle. And then again, you'll draw the knees into the chest. Just pull them nice and close. Take a rock if you like, side to side for a moment. And then one more time, we're gonna come up to seated. So you're just gonna switch the position of that rock and roll, allowing the body to start to rock and roll up to a seat. One last time. As you come up to that seat, taking one last boat pose. So I like to do boat in the end, just as a way to allow the body to utilize or work through any of that excess energy that you have left over. It feels really nice to relax after too. So back is nice and firm. You can always come into any position, any comfortable modification, keeping hands connected, knees bent, even one leg down if you're more comfortable that way. If you're still feeling nice and comfortable here and can straighten the legs without letting that low back round out, you'll do that. You can keep hands connected, or where you lean back and the arms become straight is where you'd release the arms. And keep a nice steady breath. Take about 5 more breaths. So if you need to bring the knees down or bend them, that's perfect. Just any way to finish them out. 4 more. And then just soften the feet back down to the ground or mat. Allow the body to completely relax into the mat. Maybe send the arms overhead. Take a nice full body stretch. And before you get too comfortable, just send the knees back into the chest one more time to come to a reclining twist. So you can do that by allowing the knees to just softly fall towards the right side of body. Or if you know you'll need a deeper twist, you can cross the left leg over the right and then allow knees to fall to the right side of body. Just letting the legs relax wherever they land, arms to come out to a T, gaze to turn the opposite direction of your legs. Take about 5 breaths. Slowly unwind back to the center, allowing the knees to come back into the chest, just pulling them softly towards you, neutralizing the spine for 1 moment. And then again, the legs or knees will fall softly to the right, or for a deeper twist, right leg will cross over left. You can always kind of scoot the bottom a little bit to make sure that the spine is in one long line when you come into that twist. Again, the arms will open to a T, gaze will turn the opposite direction of the legs or knees. Never worry about the shoulders touching, just allow the body to relax, allowing gravity to do the work for you. Taking a few more long breaths, maybe closing the eyes. Again, as you slowly unwind, you'll allow the knees to draw back into the chest one last time here. And then you'll pick a place that's most comfortable for you to relax. So for some people that feels comfortable to just allow the legs to open wide. Sometimes if there's issues in the low back, you might feel more comfortable to keep the knees up to the ceiling. Or you can also allow the soles of feet to join together, the legs to relax here in a relaxing or supine Baddha Konasana. You can again keep the hands wherever you like, relaxing them out to the sides. If the palms are faced up, it's a sign of a more receptive feeling. If you prefer to feel a little bit more centered or grounded, you could flip the palms down. Or you can allow one hand to come to the belly and one to the chest. Just taking these few minutes to really just allow the body to relax, muscles to relax, allowing the practice to incorporate or assimilate with the body. Trying to let go of any control over the breath, control over the mind or thoughts. Of course, you'll continue to have some thoughts, likely, so if and when a thought arises, just try to acknowledge it. And then on your next exhale, let that thought pass. We'll always return back to the in-breaths and the out-breaths, just observing the air enter and exit with ease. Continually allowing the air to enter and exit with ease. Try not to feel any sense of rush. Slowly, as you start to bring a little bit more awareness or consciousness back to the body, just start to deepen the breath a little. You can do that by lengthening the inhales and lengthening the exhales. And slowly, as you begin to move, you might wiggle the fingers or toes, or move the hands or legs, or slowly again draw the knees back into the chest. Take a moment, keeping your eyes closed if you can, as you just slowly work your way, however you need, back up to a cross-legged seat. As you come to that seat, you'll be sure that the sit bones again are rooted into the mat. The spine is nice and tall. You can relax the hands softly in the lap. And as you complete, just take a few full breaths. You'll breathe in through the nose, pause or hold the breath for 1 count, And exhale the air slowly throughout the mouth. No need to be shy, you're likely at home or alone. So you breathe in through the nose, pause or hold, and exhale, release the air. Much energy or air as you like to release throughout the mouth. So inhale through the nose, pause, exhale. Deep inhale through the nose, belly rises. Pause. Exhale. One more time, inhale through the nose. Hold. And exhale. Keeping the eyes closed, slowly bring the palms to the heart, allowing the thumbs to graze or touch the chest, bowing the head to the hands, quietly taking a moment to reflect on your practice. Thank you for practicing with me today. Namaste. Hopefully I'll see you again soon. If you have not already had me make a class for you, I do create sequences for students, so feel free to leave a comment or contact me to make a sequence or flow that's personal to you. Thank you.